Do you treat your dog as part of the family? Well, so do we. So why not celebrate your pup's birthday with the ultimate party box? Check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Party Pup Info, and let us make your pup's party or any celebration perfection.
Talking to Stan, um, you guys don't get to talk too often, huh? Like in the wrestling world, do you guys just drift apart just like regular life, or like how does that work?
Well, I mean, to condense it as best I can is like we all have our own lives. We all have families. We have, other friends in the same respect. And I mean, if you don't live right on top of each other, then you likely don't communicate as much, but we still stay in touch. I mean, we call them birthdays or special occasions, or if, just happen to think about you or something comes up business wise. But I mean, there's so many guys and people you meet in our industry that, to keep a close communication with everybody is really difficult, and have your own family and life too. So Stan and I are close, and our friendship extends from back before even the Fabulous Ones. And with that being in consideration, that, Macho Man said it the best to me. He says, unconditional friendship, brother, no matter when it is. It's just like when you come in and you go out, but it's always the same. You start back at the same spot.
Great answer, Steve. What about you, Stan? Is it that you just drifted away from the wrestling life, or like how does that happen?
I think on my end, I believe it goes back to my childhood because I was the only child and didn't have any brothers or sisters, so I'm kind of used to being alone, and I don't mind being alone. I can entertain myself with doing some stuff, whether it's here in my music room or on the golf course or whatever. So I've kind of regret it now. To be honest with you, I should have maintained better contact with a lot of guys in the business, but I was the same way with my 20-year offshore powerboat broadcasting career. I don't really maintain a whole lot of contact with those guys, and I probably should because we're only here once for a short while. And if I could go back and do it over again, I would probably change that.
I think a lot of us would feel that way. I mean, and especially in the wrestling world, I think it's a little bit different, and you guys could correct me, but you have your real life, like Steve had just said, and your family, but then you have your wrestling family, and you guys build probably a more powerful bond than even like a regular schmo like myself. So when you lose your partners in the wrestling business, like Stan, you with Bobby Eaton, you know, or Steve, you just mentioned Randy Savage. How does that affect you guys? Steve, if you'd answer first.
Okay, are you talking about passing away,
Yes, sir.
or you just can't find them anymore?
No,
I
just
mean,
passing away.
okay. Okay, I just want to make sure I get it straight because Bobby was my partner too, and both Stan and I love Bobby. And to me, I put him in the top five, in my opinion, of the best wrestlers ever to ever step in the ring. Maybe he wasn't like a greatest speaker or whatever, but as a guy that could work and you could always depend on, that was a guy that I would put up there with Kurt Hennig, and just there's only a category of about five that I'd say that.
Mm.
But losing them, you never lose them. I'll tell you, as a matter of fact, if you were to look at my phone and look through my contact list on my phone, you would see every one of them that's gone that have passed away still in there. And I've had a couple people looking at, sometimes a contact say, hey, you still got Dusty in here? And I go, well, yeah, I'd feel guilty if I erased them. I mean, they're still active in my mind. It's like, you know, reality is that they could still be alive as close as some of us are. As we're separated by miles, we're separated by families and time. So I try not to think about them as gone. I just think about them that when I die and go to heaven, because I believe in Jesus, that I'm going to be in a battle royal with half of them. Well, maybe not half, maybe a quarter, because a lot of them didn't go.
Well, that's what I was gonna ask you, Steve. With your powerful belief in Christ, does it make it easier for you to not be so affected by death?
Oh, I'm not affected by death at all. I look through the eyes of faith, not the eyes of fear. I mean, reality, this is a simple thing. 1 out of 1 people are going to die. And when you think about dying, if you're terrified or if you give it no thought at all, that's an opposite. But the idea is I'm at peace. I've lived an unbelievable life. I have the people that I went to high school with, they can't even compare to the life I led after that, except for, well, of course, I went to high school with Hulk Hogan and Mike Graham and Dick Slater and Austin Idol. But that's not the idea. It's the idea that, God took me through an unbelievable life. I've seen the world 10 times over. I mean, I've done things that people couldn't imagine doing, met people that, you would never fathom you'd meet. I'm blessed. I'm so blessed that I'm at peace that if I went tomorrow, I'm not excited about going tomorrow now, but if I did, I wouldn't have any regrets at all. I'd be totally at peace.